The first major clash between the British and the Dervish forces took place at Af-Bakayle on June 3, 1901, near a shallow water basin roughly 45 miles west of Lazanad. The place, known today as Haradhiag, became the site where the British column, composed of a small number of white soldiers, Punjabi Indians, Sudanese, Swahilis, and Somali auxiliaries, first engaged the expanding Dervish movement. The British commander, Colonel Swain, later nicknamed Swain Corps by the Dervishes, led troops positioned between Wadamagui and Bureau. From Wadamagui, the British had about 50 mounted infantry, 20 camel corps, more than 1,000 foot soldiers, and 3 7-pounder artillery guns. Another 400 men marched from Bureau to join them. Meanwhile, the Dervish forces, numbering around 12,000 cavalry, 1,500 infantry, and several thousand dependents with livestock, had gathered around the town of Baran and were moving southward. Soon after Af-Bakayle came the second great encounter at Fardadan, a valley surrounded by hills between the Hod and the lands stretching toward Garo and Lazanad. The British, alarmed by the growing strength and mobility of the Dervish, planned a surprise attack on their camp. But the Dervish evacuated their families and herds the night before and positioned their fighters on 2 hills flanking the expected British rout. At dawn on July 16, 1901, the clash erupted, guns roaring until midday when the battle turned to close combat. Though casualties fell on both sides, the Dervish emerged victorious, capturing supplies and leaving the British to withdraw in disorder. The third confrontation unfolded at Beardhaiga near Zodeo, 70 miles north of Galkatio, where the British devised a 3-pronged offensive, one force to land at Hobyo and advance from the south, another to march from Berbera through Buhudal from the north, and a third from Jigjiga through Dagakstur from the west. Confident in moving with their usual scouts ahead, the British descended toward the Iragog Valley and camped near Saulax Iragog, unaware that the Dervish monitored their every step. At dawn on October 12, 1902, a devastating battle broke out at Zodeo. The British suffered heavy losses, over 1,000 dead, 90 wounded, and large quantities of ammunition, camels, spirits, 2 heavy guns, and several rifles captured. Poets across the Dervish territories celebrated the victory, including Yusuf Sharma Sisman, who composed verses praising the fallen and honoring the triumph. After Beardhaiga came Kagarwain, the fourth major battle, where the Dervish again anticipated the British advance and struck first, inflicting such severe losses that only 6 British soldiers reportedly escaped. The next encounter at Daratul, near the wells of Danud in the Haragaksari Basin, saw Colonel Swain leading the force meant to attack from the north. After leaving Berbera and regrouping at Buhudal, his troops marched south unaware of the catastrophe at Kagarwain. The Dervish, already informed of their movements, lit campfires near Daratul to mislead them. On April 22, 1903, as the British scouted eastward, events unfolded that would lead to yet another confrontation. Lastly came Jidbale, in the middle of the Nubal Valley about 30 miles north of Lazanad, where in January 1903 British forces once again attempted to break the Dervish movement. There, amidst constant skirmishing and shifting tactics, the two sides met in another chapter of the long and fierce struggle whose remaining battles and stories continue beyond this account.